Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
State Systems is focused on protecting life and property. As a local, privately owned company, our foundation was built on providing all businesses with complete fire and security protection and infrastructure cabling. State Systems is proud to be a part of the Mid-South community and a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Additional funding provided by Christian Brothers University and Baptist Memorial Healthcare. Get better with Baptist.
This month on The Spark, our theme is Expect the Unexpected. We'll learn more about a public educational and outreach initiative that focuses on emergency preparedness, a bank that is heavily investing in our community and leading the charge to get more companies and employees planning ahead, and an organization recognized around the world for its mission of preventing and relieving suffering, especially after natural disasters. Have you ever been excited by a new idea, inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes who are making a difference in their own way, so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show, which is focused on business and community leaders that are leading by example to give back, fuel change, and create new opportunities for the Mid-South. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is The Spark. With the theme of Expect the Unexpected, we're going to lead off with Ready Shelby. And so we're here with the Programs Officer for the Assisi Foundation, which is the facilitator for Ready Shelby, Karen Kitchens. And you did a lot of research on the front end putting this together. There's a free website out, readyshelby.org. Give us, though, a little bit of the history in terms of pulling Ready Shelby and all these pieces together.
Well, following Hurricane Katrina, the community came together from all the municipalities. And we decided that it would be to the advantage of the residents in Shelby County to better prepare them overall for an emergency or disaster situation.
And so you've got the website, you have a calendar out in the community as well, a number of huge efforts. But talk about overall the goal, and for the website, what's the takeaway for, because I know you want to make it fun, educational, you've got all the different links up there, all the information, but talk about just the goal for the website and for the effort overall.
The goal for the website is to provide the community with a single source that they could go to learn and better prepare themselves and their families. It also provides a link to various and sundry other resources in the community, so they don't have to guess about where would I go to find about, like, how do I do a family communication plan.
And so I do want to point out this is something that you've done it for Shelby County, but the reality is all this information is applicable no matter where you live.
That's correct.
So this is all perfect. And you've stepped it out. There's 5 major steps. First one is make a plan. Talk about making a plan.
The family communication plan really just entails the family sitting down and talking about what they would do in the event of an emergency. One of the most important things to include in that plan is to have an out-of-town contact.
Right.
So in the event of an emergency or disaster situation where the family members are not together, they have a place that they can call and say, I'm okay, here I am, what do I need to do next?
And also, too, for the kids, it's important for them to not just know grandma, grandpa, the actual names.
They need to know the name of the out-of-town contact.
And also, too, I think one of the things that was neat in there is pointing out little things like, if you have a fire, you want to have a designated place to go to so that everybody goes to the same place. You want to have the out-of-town contact. All these little things that you may not necessarily think about, but they're critically important for making a plan. Next step is putting together a kit. Talk about some of those areas.
One of the things when you're putting together your kit, it does not have to be extremely expensive. There are items throughout your household that you can pull together, and one of the most important things is to have a sturdy pair of shoes. In the event that something happens, there's broken glass, you have to kind of fight your way out of rubble or whatever, or if there's a flooding that people don't realize all the things that come in with that water you don't want to be walking through.
And it's important for them to have medication, correct? And really it's enough for 3 days worth. That's the typical response time in many cases, to be overly prepared at least for 3 days worth of food and water and things like that too, right?
And don't forget your pets.
Absolutely. So you guys do a ton of stuff in the community. Let's go ahead and take a quick break and show. You've got Ready Shelby at the zoo, which is a neat community-wide effort to help prepare the kids and the families. So let's take a quick look and then we'll come back and talk more about it. So that was Ready Shelby Day at the zoo. Gives you a glimpse at some of the community-wide efforts and mobilization and training that you're doing. Talk about the next step. The next step is creating a go bag. And so a go bag basically is a portable bag
It's a portable
that you
bag
can take out and run with. So
you can
what
take
needs
out
to
and
go
run
in
with.
there?
As I mentioned, shoes, extra pair of clothing, any medications that you take, and not just you take, but anybody else in your family.
Pets too.
Pets, you need to include things for your pets. A leash, identification, things like that. One of the things that you should know about your go bag is where to keep it. And what we recommend is that people keep it in what we call your safe place. And that's one of our third steps, is you need to know where to go in the event of an emergency situation, such as a tornado. And everyone in your family needs to know that. So for example, if you live in a 2-story house, people need to know when they hear those sirens or they think there's a threat of weather such as that, get downstairs, and your safe place needs to be downstairs in an interior room, preferably with no windows.
And those are little things, but I remember growing up in school where as soon as you'd have the tornado drills and you would have to tuck in the floor and get down as low to the ground as possible, but yet those are things that make a huge difference, and that's the difference between life and many times another circumstance, just being prepared but being trained.
Absolutely.
And that goes to the other step too, is knowing CPR, CERT training. Talk about some of those other aspects.
Well, we recommend that people learn compression-only CPR because that is not as involved as the full CPR that people are most familiar with, and also it's something that you can teach children fairly easily. The community also provides, all the municipalities have what's called community emergency response team training, and this is something that is available for free. It takes some time. It takes like a couple of days for you to go through. And specifically, if you're a business, it is a great team building experience for businesses. There are at least 3 locally of the CERT programs that will go to businesses.
Nice.
And do the training on site.
I know that Susan will talk about it on her end where she's pulling together and having her team and she's getting them go bags and getting them trained, but talk about how companies, how individuals, how can they plug into Ready Shelby and take that next step to help us be more prepared as a community?
Well, the easiest thing is, again, go to our website and look at those 5 steps and check them off, do them.
Nice.
And I would really recommend employers encourage their employees to do that. And one of the things we have also been recommending, this is a great way to get people better prepared, is include this in your orientation.
There you go. Perfect. Well, Karen, greatly appreciate your spearheading and being the facilitator for Ready Shelby. Greatly appreciate everything you're doing in the community. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thank you.
The are a big, bright part of the Memphis skyline from downtown to East Memphis, the big I for Independent Bank. I'm here with the co-chair and the president, Susan Stephenson, and you have a very personal story attached to Independent Bank, especially with the founding. So give us a little bit of a glimpse of the story in founding Independent Bank.
Well, my business partner, Chip Dudley, and I are truly entrepreneurs. We decided to start this bank in 1998. We opened our doors. We have had a long history in the community in banking. Right. And we knew that we had the commitment and the expertise to do something that would be important for this community, which is to serve them with a bank that was independent, locally owned, and focused on the success of our community. So that's what we've been about for this last 15 years.
What I absolutely love, focus on the success of the community. So it's traditional banking, obviously, but you have so much more. I mean, you've got mortgages now, you have auto loans. So talk about just the scope of the services for Independent Bank.
Well, we know that consumers have lots of needs over the course of a lifetime. We have a robust auto lending group that's actually all over the Mid-South, nice. The Southeast, actually in the Southwest and Midwest now as well. We also have a mortgage operation that's been open for almost 2 years now. It's, again, a focus on helping serve our customers in the most significant financial investment they usually make in a lifetime, which is a purchase of a home.
Sure.
And then finally, we have a wealth management group that is focused on helping us plan not just for today, but for the long term, to make sure that we can use money as a tool to achieve our dreams.
And that's the key, is you're looking at it from a dream standpoint. We're helping you fulfill the dreams, and the money is that vehicle that helps get you there. So a big part of today's show and why I love you personally is that you're so heavily involved in the community. I mean, you're leading by example. You serve on a ton of nonprofit boards. You are heavily engaged, and you're very strategic about your philanthropy as well. And so you're looking at it from arts, you're looking at it from education, you're looking at it from family safety and security, and also to leadership development, retention, and activation. And so share with us a little about your philosophy and some of those engagements overall.
Well, we made a decision when we started the company that we were going to take part of what we made in profit and reinvest it in the community that we were serving. And so we wanted to focus on education as a way to fuel our talent, not just for today, but for future of our community. We wanted to make sure that we were developing leaders in our community, all across our community. We're really proud to support a number of initiatives in that area. The New Memphis Institute, who helps develop leaders at the executive level and all the way through the community, including a focus on educators and partnering educators, the youngest and most talented folks who are investing in helping us build a world-class urban education system. We are focused on issues that deal with women and children in our community. The Women's Foundation for Greater Memphis has helped us really focus on helping all of us achieve economic self-sufficiency in our community and developing philanthropy and skills in our community. For the majority of people who live at or below the poverty level in our community are women and children. And then finally, a new initiative that my partner has been instrumental in, and that is the Family Safety Center.
Right.
They focus on helping the victims of domestic violence by bringing together resources from across all the different segments of the community and making it less challenging for them to really find their way out of a really difficult situation.
So that's the perfect segue to actually let's show viewers what's going on at the Family Safety Center.
Family Safety Center is one-stop shopping for victims of domestic violence, so they get access to all the services that they need. Typically, they're needing assistance with civil legal assistance, housing, financial assistance, and also access to counseling and support groups. Also, we have the Order of Protection office here, so if anytime someone needs a temporary order of protection, they would come to the Family Safety Center for that. Or if they needed to speak with the investigator from Memphis Police Department's Domestic Violence Bureau, they would come to the Family Safety Center in order to do that. We see individuals from all walks of life. We've seen individuals from all over Shelby County, as well as Arkansas and Tennessee, mostly females with children, but we also serve men as well. I think it provides one location really for a victim to come and know they're going to get help, know they're going to get access to information, access to resources. There are some wonderful organizations doing a lot of great work, and we try to provide a space where they know they can come to and don't have to go through multiple doors in order to get to those organizations. When they come to the Family Safety Center, they're going to meet with a compassionate and knowledgeable staff member that is going to hold their hand through the entire process.
So that gives us some perspective on the Family Safety Center, which you're personally heavily involved with, especially with Independent Bank. And disaster preparedness, expecting the unexpected, that's the theme for today, something obviously very near and dear to your heart. Why?
Well, as a financial institution, of course, we're required by law to be prepared to recover from a disaster. You have to be certain as a customer that you have access to funds when you need them. Right. But what we've learned over time, certainly as we've experienced flooding and Hurricane Elvis, we've learned that if we are not helping our team members be prepared personally for a disaster, then they can't help our business be fully prepared for a disaster. So we've learned that it's important to step back and help our coworkers build their own strategy and plan to survive a natural disaster.
Exactly. So you've partnered with Ready Shelby.
Absolutely.
And you put together, and this is the part I love, is you're helping your team, you're actually putting together go bags for them and showing them what all needs to go in there, correct?
That's correct. In fact, it's a really simple process. I would tell you that all of us can do this because Ready Shelby has done all the hard work for us. They've already given us a checklist.
Nice.
And it's making certain that our team members are building a bag, a go bag to be ready for a disaster. Things you wouldn't think about ordinarily, making sure you have the proper shoes, a copy of a photo ID, prescription medicines, a plan for your pets,
right.
Which all of us, in a disaster, you certainly want to make sure that all of your family members, both furry and the rest of us are prepared for disaster. So it's really a process of just really encouraging people to step back and be prepared. And we know that when our team members are prepared personally, then they're able to quickly process that initial family recovery period, a communication plan, making sure that you're able to really focus on your business from that point forward.
And so as a last conversation, what would you encourage for other business owners that are watching this or business leaders? What's that first step?
First step, I would say, is help your own team be prepared. Start with helping them organize their own go bags so that they are personally prepared. And then we also need to be aware that in our community, we are fortunate we have the ability to build our own go bags for our team and our team members. But we want to make sure that everyone in our community is prepared for disaster, and we need to support raising funds to make that a reality.
And that's that next step, is getting everyone prepared here in the Mid-South.
Absolutely.
So greatly appreciate everything you're doing, not only on the business front, but also on the community front. So Susan, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
They're a household name all across the world, especially for their work with relief efforts and also the military. I'm here with Laura Vaughn. She's the Executive Director of American Red Cross in the Mid-South. And when I say American Red Cross, definitely know the symbol, the logo, everything you guys are doing. But talk about the 4 key areas of service for American Red Cross in the Mid-South.
Sure. Here in the Mid-South, we provide disaster relief, which many people have seen. Anything from fires to flooding to tornadoes. And our amazing volunteers, get up in the middle of the night to provide that food and shelter. In addition to that, we also do international tracing. We reconnect families from all over the world who are displaced from one another during times of conflict. We also provide a host of services to our military families to help them deal with the challenges of deployment and provide those emergency communications to one another during deployment. Then lastly, we help prepare the community, both on an individual and a corporate level, to ensure that our community is ready and resilient for times of disaster.
And that's the perfect transition. The theme obviously today is expect the unexpected. And so let's start with the business side. Talk about Ready Rating.
Sure. Ready Rating is a free online program. Again, free online program to help businesses start that first step of building a continuity plan. 4 out of 5 small businesses, if they don't have a formal plan in place, will not recover from a disaster of any size. That's why this program, they just go online, register, answer the 123 questions, and it will rate them in terms of their preparedness level in different areas of their business. It then tells them what they need to do to improve their preparedness level in those areas. So it creates a roadmap for them. It's not a matter of just completing it and walking away. It's a roadmap and a plan for your business, and it changes as your business changes and your business grows.
That's amazing. And one of the things that you sit on the front lines, and we're going to transition a little bit to the individual side, but you sit on the front lines for, like you alluded to, the fires, the floods. Talk about how many of those, because I think people don't really understand how many fires you face in a year, just what that devastation can be like in terms of the number, the magnitude. Give us a little bit of a glimpse of that.
Sure. Last year alone, we assisted over 800 families here in the Mid-South that were impacted by a residential fire. 94% of everything we do is executed by a volunteer, and our amazing volunteers get up in the middle of the night to respond with the fire department to those fires to ensure that the family's needs are met. Food,
Nice.
shelter, clothing, and just hope.
And that switches over to the safety house. Talk about the safety house.
Amazing tool originally put together by FedEx and Medtronics and now supported by Granger that teaches children how to prevent and respond to residential fire. It also teaches them what to do if a tornado was to come through their community as well.
So let's go ahead and let's show viewers exactly what we're talking about with the safety house.
The safety house is what I like to refer to as a visual aid where we can put hands on. We take it to our neighborhood churches, schools in our area, and we carry families through it. And we try to teach fire safety in the home so that we can try and cut down on the number of fires that we have here in our area, which is our #1 disaster. We try to help people prepare for disasters, prevent disasters, and also recover from disasters. And in doing so, this is one of the tools we use to help prevent fires in the home. So in the safety house, we have the kitchen area. Our #1 reason for fire in our area is cooking. We also have a fire extinguisher in there, which we try to promote that each home should have at least one fire extinguisher in it. Do a 911 call. We even do a microwave setting where we ask kids what they should not put into a microwave. That's our living area, in which we have a fireplace in there. And in our fireplace, we talk to kids about not playing too close to the fire. We try to get kids to understand that fire is dangerous and they should be nowhere near a fire while they're playing. We try to demonstrate how far they should be from any source of open flame. We also try to tell them what they should do if they do catch a fire. If their clothing catch a fire, we try to explain to them, stop, drop, and roll. It gives them an opportunity to put hands on and to actually visualize some of the things that might go wrong in the home. That's what our efforts are for, is to get kids to start recognizing these things.
So we just saw your safety house, and one of the other things that you do a ton of is CPR, AED, all sorts of training. So discuss some of the training that you guys do.
Sure, we do CPR, First Aid, AED training for individuals out of our chapter and some with our partners like Singleton Community Center. Then we also go into businesses and teach their employees and get them certified in First Aid and CPR and AED training as well.
And so you also will work with companies and come in for free, right, and do a workshop on preparedness education training, correct?
Exactly. You know, it's not just about going on and keeping the company prepared and having them create a plan. It's also vital that we teach their employees how to be prepared, not only at work, but at home as well. So all we need is an invitation, and we'll come out. We'll hold about a 1-hour preparedness education seminar with the employees to just teach them about our first aid apps that they can download on their phones. And during times of emergency, they're all free.
There's a theme here.
Exactly, free. It also teaches them about how to create a kit and how to make a plan both at work and at home. So again, they themselves can get back up and going quicker with their families and return to work quicker.
And that is a very important piece of this, is that you can have the best continuity plan in the world, but the reality is if your employees, if their families aren't prepared, then they're not going to be able to get back to work. And so that is one of those where you take it for granted, but the reality is on both sides, you have to be prepared. Talk about volunteers, because obviously you alluded to it. Volunteers, that's the lifeline. That's the power for a lot of these, especially with the relief efforts being out there in the middle of the night. So much of what you do relies on volunteers. Talk about the volunteer initiative.
Sure. Due to the amazing generosity of the Assisi Foundation, we are in year 2 of a project called Join the 1000. And again, we stand ready 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we could not do it without our volunteers. And so with this program, volunteers become a part of the Red Cross. We help to create a career path for these volunteers and find out, do they want to volunteer in a public affairs position? Do they want to come do interviews like we're doing today? Or do they want to be on the front line of disaster relief? Or do they want to go out to the businesses to help teach those preparedness education? Again, we truly are a volunteer-led organization.
And I like the fact that you make it easy. So whatever it is that I'm interested in volunteering with, you've got an area that you can use my skills and time and resources, and so you just plug right in, right?
Exactly. Like we said, 94% of everything we do, whether it's delivering the emergency communications to the military or it's answering the phones at the chapter, 94% of everything we do is led by a volunteer.
Well, greatly appreciate everything that the American Red Cross in the Mid-South is doing here in the community. Thank you very much, Laura, for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me today, Jeremy.
So we've all done it. Put off today what we can do tomorrow, but with so many unexpected emergencies like tornadoes, fires, and floods, the key is taking action today so that you, your family, and your company are truly prepared. The best continuity plan in the world is not going to matter if employees and their families are not prepared as well. The first step is to make a plan, and like Susan mentioned, make sure to include all family members, including your pets. Next, build a kit and store enough supplies for at least 3 days. Be ready to evacuate quickly with a pre-packed go bag, and make sure that you and your family know where to go and meet when disaster strikes. There are free resources out there like with Ready Shelby and the Red Cross, so please take action today and encourage others to do the same. Thank you for watching The Spark. To learn more about each of the guests and interact with your stories of others leading by example, visit thesparktv.org. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we hope that you'll join with us in creating a spark for the Mid-South.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
State Systems is focused on protecting life and property. As a local, privately owned company, our foundation was built on providing all businesses with complete fire and security protection and infrastructure cabling. State Systems is proud to be a part of the Mid-South community and a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.